Like for me, it doesn't make sense when someone's got 100,000 followers, but they don't have 100,000 rands in their bank account. You can't have 1 million followers, but you don't have 1 million rands in your bank. You can't have 10,000 followers, you don't have 10,000 rands in your bank account, right? So how do you get the money out of these people's pockets? Because they're buying into you. That's your personal brand. Once you build a personal brand, you're building trust. Once you've got trust, when you deliver the product, they have to trust the product. Once they trust the product, then you start getting repeat sales. Once you get repeat sales, you're in business.
Yeah. Yeah. Come let me teach you a lesson. Come let me teach you a lesson. Label line with the tweets. Follow me back to my nest. Label line with the podcast. Teach you lesson cause I got class. Label line with the impact. You be lying, that's a real fact. Come let me teach you a lesson. Come let me teach you a lesson. Label line with the tweets. Follow me back to my nest.
Everyone, and welcome to the first segment of Diary of a CMO. My name is Lebo Lion and I'm going to be your host for this evening. Usually when I introduce myself on my podcast, we use my tagline which goes, I'm Lebo Lion, the voice of marketing and your friend in all things marketing, brand building, and sometimes pop culture. And I think it ties in so well to the conversations that we're going to be having this evening on Diary of a CMO, because we're talking to industry leaders, entrepreneurs, and marketing professionals who've really broken boundaries and have built brands and businesses that we love. A brand is an identity, and all of us relate to different brands that give us the identities that we sell to the public, that we use to create meaning in the lives that we live. And having conversations about brands helps us understand why these things that people build give us identity and make the world have meaning. I always say that everything that exists today was an idea at some point, right? But not all ideas make it. So these conversations are going to ask the question, how do some ideas make it? And who are these people who are brave enough to make their ideas work? How do they do it? That's what these conversations are about. I'm really excited for today's installation because we have somebody who I highly admire, and I also call him a friend, and he's also my mentor. He doesn't know he's my mentor, but I've been watching him since I was about 10 years old. He's been on radio, he's been an entrepreneur, he's done so much, and he's really been part of South African pop culture. You cannot say this man's name without thinking about different movements and points in South African pop culture. So I thought this would be the perfect person to start these conversations with. I don't think he really needs an introduction, but I will introduce him anyway. Please welcome DJ SBU, who is a serial entrepreneur and entertainment maverick, and he's also one of the best marketers, I believe, in South Africa, and we'll find out why in these conversations. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Why so formal, SBU?
Dumelang. Is a problem. Can I put this here?
Yeah, you can put it anywhere.
Okay.
Or we can just put it down, it's fine.
Okay, I'll put
Oh,
it here.
really? Okay, we're doing that. Hectic. Is this another branding thing that we have to know about?
Yes, I was offered the water. I hear it's a local brand and it collaborates with local artists.
Yeah.
So I just tasted it and I just liked the story. So I thought it's beautiful packaging. Let me also give it a plug.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, ma'am.
We really appreciate your company.
Yes, thank you.
So-
And good evening to everyone.
Hi.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So this segment, Diary of a CMO, is all about celebrating people who've built phenomenal brands on the African continent. And I regard you as one of those people who've done that really, really well.
Thank you.
And in this conversation, I'd like you to share your journey with us and tell us how you did it. Because there are lots of people watching now and they want to follow in your footsteps. But also we know right now, as we are living in a digital era, brand has more value than products and services, right? Because you can sell brands and do so much more with a brand than you can with just a product or a service. So we thought these conversations would help people understand that. So SBU, please introduce yourself before we get into this conversation.
Thank you very much for the invite, guys. I really appreciate it. My name is Sibusiso. I come from Etembisa which is a township in Ekurhuleni in the East Rand. Just like any other kids, had my upbringing, my youth around 80s and 90s, Apartheid South Africa. But as kids, we didn't know much about what was going on in the country. We used to hear of Mandela. He was in prison at the time. We used to see this image of this gentleman with boxing gloves, they used to call them Mama Big John Tate, like these shorts. And he was like a boxer. Some of those pictures would be black and white, and as the years went by, there'd be a bit of color, and then we started seeing his face now close up, but his eyes would be covered. And he used to have like short hair with like a little indlela la song, as with babiza ngathi ngesilungu. And we used to see that image. We never understood. We were kids at the time. I remember vague memories of the announcing of the murdering of the late great Ntate Chris Hani. We remember seeing the images on television news, his body covered over there with a lot of blood, and they'd say it was in Boksburg, he was killed. We remember the noise, what was happening in the country. There were not a lot of newspapers, not a lot of TV channels. We remember the noise, people saying they're going to the stadium to bury Chris Hani. And then at some point, Utatu Mandela was released out of prison, and there was just a lot of things that were happening in the township. I remember memories of the Inkatha versus ANC tribal wars. We didn't understand what was going on with kids. Now that I'm older, I look back and I sort of understand what was going on in the country. So I come from that environment. I'm in my early 40s, and I'm blessed to have lived until this age, because when all of that was happening in the country and the political violence, for some reason we never thought we'd reach the age of 21. We never thought we'd reach the age of 30, let alone being in your 40s, being a parent, and everything that one has achieved. God has been good. But the story is just that of any other South African. Like, that's just those pictures that I've just painted now. I'm sure a lot of people out there can identify with those stories, especially if they're a little bit older. I've built a reputation in the entertainment industry. I'd say loving to build brands. I built myself to be a brand. I used to just love radio. I started a community radio in Tembisa. I was on campus radio at UJ. It's now called UJ FM. At the time, it was called Channel T. I used to take demos around. We used to DJ on cassettes, and I'd record myself demos of wanting to be on radio at the time, because a lot of people used to make comments about my voice. So I really thought I had a potential to be on radio. Took demo tapes to different radio stations, multiple demo tapes to YFM while I was on campus radio, and I was also on Voice of Tembisa. I started from community radio and campus radio. That's how I built my career. When YFM was starting, I joined it later by entering a talent search competition. I ended up being one of the jocks there. I started from the graveyard slot in the early hours of the morning, building from there. I joined an agency called Gano. I started going for TV commercials, for auditions, for presenting gigs. My first television presenting gig was a television show called Mofaya. It was a music talent search show, So that's pretty much how I started my career: radio, television presenting, and then I did a lot of acting. I did some parts in Generations. I did Istingo. I did Abu Kazlam. I don't know who remembers that. I did some short films. I did TV commercials. I was really putting in a lot of work, There wasn't a lot of money in the industry at the time, but just building, trying out acting, being on community radio, trying out presenting. I sort of didn't know where to fit in, and I didn't want to box myself. I was like, whatever opens the door, whichever door opens, I'll go in. I've just been like that. I've always been multitasking throughout my career. God has been good. I've achieved a lot, and then I got a big television show called Friends Like These. I went on to present that on SABC1 for a decade, for about 11 years. Simultaneously on YFM, I moved from graveyard slots. I started standing in for other DJs who were on air at the time. Fat Joe, one of the greatest television and radio presenters this country has ever produced. DJ Fresh, the late great DJ Kabzela. Paul, who's my colleague now at Radio 2000 that does the afternoon show. He was one of the people who embraced me when I was young. I used to visit his show, hang around with him, and he'd allow me on the mic from time to time. Kabzela did the same thing. Thomas Msenga, and at the time he used to go by the name Bad Boy T. I remember Semiti, I remember AK Mkaka Shabalala, I remember Sispindi Gule, I remember DJ Mo and the Iggy Smalls. I remember YFM becoming a pulse and just a part of youth culture, being so influential in the country. I remember a lot of people all over the country wanting YFM to spread out to the rest of the country, but it was just a Gauteng station at the time. Those are all beautiful memories, and the fact that I became a part of YFM opened me up into the industry. As I was saying, television career opened up, YFM gig, I'm growing in there. Met a gentleman who used to work for record companies by the name of TK Ngliza. He's now a politician, he's doing really well in politics. We partnered up and we started a record label called TS Records. And then that's when I sort of started my music career, producing music and curating some music albums. We did some Kwaito releases, we did some house music releases, we did some Afro pop releases, we did some hip hop releases, and then we went on to become one of the, I think one of the greatest independent Kwaito labels of all time in the country. We've made history in the music industry.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's an impressive resume. In everything that you've been saying, the common thread that I'm hearing, right, is your identity is rooted in the township. That's what I'm hearing you say. Why is it important for you to bring that story into everything that you do, and how has it informed you building the brands that you've built today?
You need to know, I mean, I guess the easiest thing to be is yourself, right? So for me, I'm just that township kid, and I see a whole lot of other millions of township kids in the country relate to what I do. They relate to my language, my lifestyle, the things I speak about. I'm like that guy next door, I'm like that brother next door, I'm like le khurmana se stratin sako, le antona se kaslako, you know. That's how I built my career, and that was inspired by a late great radio DJ by the name of Kabzela. Kabzela was like a very talented radio DJ who would paint a picture with words, even if you didn't come from Ezola, or you didn't know him, or you didn't see how he looked like. At the time, there was no social media. He was so good in his radio show that he could paint pictures with words using Tsotsital. Okay. You know, like now it's normal and in common, you see a lot of TV ads using Tsotsital, a lot of companies just using just that township slang. At some point, it wasn't as cool as it is now. Mm-hmm. I always attribute all of that to him. I'm like, he's the guy that made Tsotsital to be cool. Yeah. And then that's when you started seeing about Amasiri Safana Nabo Yizo, you know, playing that role and just giving us that township identity that made us to be proud to be coming from the hood, right? And as South Africa is evolving and changing, a lot of kids went to private schools. Parents really worked hard to take their kids and give them a good education. And I was one of those, my parents really tried hard, but now I went to township schools. You know, they wanted a great history for myself. And mine is what an interesting story that I've been able to live. And when I started working, I just started seeing the love that Kabzela got from being on radio. But I loved DJ Fresh. I identified with him. I identified with a columnist at the time used to go by the name Rude Boy Paul. I was a fan of Fat Joe. I loved what he was doing, you know, adopting a lot of American style entertainment and localizing it in his own way. I loved how brash he was, how witty he was on radio and television, how creative he was, and how he played a very big role in becoming a part of the comedy culture in the country. He collaborated a lot with the guys that did a comedy television show called Pure Monati. I don't know if any of you guys remember the Pure Monati show. Mm-hmm. The Pure Monati show was incredible. It was amazing. Fat Joe incorporated all of that into his television shows and radio shows. And all of those little things, they really inspired me. And I kind of wanted to retain my identity even when I started doing well and I started making money. Mm-hmm. I've always loved the hood. Yes. But I've always loved the funny things in life, and I was blessed, and I started traveling the world. I was a really big fan of Roger Federer. He's now retired, my greatest favorite tennis player of all time. I love Jay-Z. I've always loved hip hop. I traveled to the US, traveled to Europe. I'd watch all these different shows and festivals, and I've just really opened myself up to the world. And every time when I travel, I'd be inspired to come back home and localize some of the inspirations that I'd get from the different countries that I'd travel. Traveled a lot of African countries, so I've really been that person who never, when I started making money. I wouldn't even mind sometimes traveling all by myself, but I just wanted to open up my mind to what was out there, you know, what was going on in the world, in everything, in youth culture and music, in festivals, eventing, in clothing, in style, fashion. sports, all of that stuff, you know. So every other thing that I've done locally has always been inspired by all of my travels and all of these people that I've always looked up to, but I've always just wanted to be rooted in my township culture all the way till today. Like, you can see my township culture in everything that I do. I give back, I love local brands, I represent local, I'm myself in everything that I do. Although I've been blessed to, you know, I think now I've lived my other half, the other half of my life. Maybe I've lived in the suburbs now longer than I've lived in the hood.
Yeah.
But I think you can still tell. So it makes a lot of kids like feel like they can relate to a lot of the work that I put out. Yeah.
You know, a lot of brands want to capitalize on the township, right? But from my own marketing perspective, I think they've got a lot of learning to do. What are some of the misconceptions do you see brands having about the township, and how should they reimagine how they view the township? Is it a monolithic market, or is it diverse, and how do you tap into that? It's
stereotypes that sometimes offend the actual market, right? So if it's trending out there and if every black person is talking, most black people are talking about it on social media, then it's cool.
Yeah.
Before there was social media, it used to be ads that sometimes would angry the township market, because they'd stereotype us.
But like the mama washing her clothes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just that noise, and just that, you know what I mean? Like exactly. It was techy, sometimes it would get corny, but I think advertising agencies started becoming clever by hiring more younger, fresh creatives. A lot of them who come from the hood, who understand the language and the culture. And I think a lot of brands have been helped through that. And other brands would make mistakes. And when they would make mistakes, social media was starting maybe like 10, 15 years ago or so. Different social media platforms, and they would trend. And they trend for the wrong reasons. Others would learn from the other ones who've done wrong things, so as to not offend us that much anymore. And I think over time, as the language of marketing and just township culture and just embracing ourselves and who we are, how we speak, the way we are, I think a lot of brands have started learning. And even also the growth of TikTok in the country, it still is the fastest growing social media platform in the world, especially in the country. If you're not on TikTok, you're not building a brand, because that's where everybody is, right? So obviously the Facebooks of this world, the X's, the YouTubes and Instagrams. So I kind of feel they get it wrong when they stereotype us, and also when they still force to only have that one or two black faces in the room, as opposed to have the majority of the team be what you think your money comes from. And most of your money comes from the black community. Whether you're an insurance company, whether you're a TV radio station, whether you're a newspaper, whether you're a clothing brand, whether you're a food brand, a beverage brand, an alcohol brand, we all know majority of people that live in this country and that consume a lot of these different products and offerings and services out there are black people. So if you're gonna do business in South Africa and be successful, you really have to have a very diverse, I would say, creative team. And even the agencies that you work with, it has to be agencies that have done successful campaigns in capturing or communicating to the biggest market. Yes, you have to be diverse, but you have to understand who are the majority, right?
Okay, so when you started to introduce yourself and you told us your story, you started with the DJ SBU brand, right? You told us how you became DJ SBU. Let's talk a little bit about personal branding. Why is it important, and how would you advise someone to build a personal brand if they were starting today?
Okay. So building a personal brand benefits you because you don't have to try much yourself. We've seen people building their own personal brands over the past 5 years since COVID-19, since the internet blew up in the country. We've just started seeing all these faces that are speaking about whatever, continuously on our faces. And how the algorithm works, if you like it once, they want to start showing you that person another time and another time and another time. Some of them you start even falling in love with them. Some of them you've just seen them grow in front of your faces. Be it YouTubers or people on TikTok, and there's just some people who are always live on TikTok. Like, yo, they're like always live. Even like you wake up by mistake at 2 in the morning, they are there, they are live. I'm like, yo. And you know why? Because they make you money there. They're able to monetize all of that, right? So, for me, I feel like this is the best time ever in our country. You know, the other day I saw another internet service provider that's going to give faster internet and cheaper, that's going to rival Starlink, which is from China, space sale. I'm like, oh, okay, at least guess, I couldn't get, you know? If it's Elon Musk who's a spoiled brat, busy throwing his toys out of the cot, there's a Chinese alternative, right? So let them battle it out themselves, because that's how business works. Like, you offer people a better service, you must know that there's competition in the market, and it always makes it better for us, the consumers, to have those options, right? So which means whichever one makes it first into the country, whether maybe it's both of them over a long period of time, it'll make a lot of South Africans be able to get internet at a cheaper rate, which will be faster, which means even in our rural communities, a lot of young lives will get changed. A lot of young people right now are making money through the internet. Some of them are influencers. As I'm saying, they're going live all the time. They're monetizing those Facebooks. They're monetizing those TikTok accounts. They're becoming YouTubers. Like, actually, the current crop of celebrities in South Africa are social media, internet, young people. Yeah. And that's incredible, you know, for somebody who came up through that era of just SABC 1, 2, and 3. To just see what's going on right now. It's like the media has been decentralized.
Yes.
So this is the best time ever, Sis Leope, and this is the best time ever for you guys to communicate with your younger brothers, your younger sisters, to encourage them to use the internet, to take advantage of it and monetize it, find out ways on how to learn how to make money through all of those platforms, and just be themselves. Just take out a phone and record themselves and just share content out there. So a lot of lives will change. A lot of young people will get opportunities to make money, and they make money in dollars online. And then there's people like us who take advantage of those opportunities to build brands. The latest statistics are still the same over the past 3 years, that South Africans stay on the internet the longest than any other country in the world. So which means your audience is now online. Yeah. So you don't even have to leave the room like we did. Get into the taxis and be a man or street and be waiting in those long queues in the morning. Like, you can literally be in your home, just ask for your folks or whoever, if you're a kid, to just get your folks to get you guys 24-hour internet. You know what I mean, at a cheaper rate. And then you got a good phone. Then you just get yourself a ring light, and then, you know, Bob's your uncle.
So are you saying that building a personal brand is being on social media?
Yes, right now, yes.
That's a very controversial statement to make.
It is.
Why are you saying that?
The social media will get you out to the people.
So it's all about just getting out to the people?
Yeah. As I just said, I'm going to say it again. You can Google it. Statistics say South Africans stay the longest online, on the internet, than any other country in the world. You can Google it right now. There's been multiple statistics from different credible articles over the past 5 years since COVID-19 lockdown. What does that tell you? That's where your money is. Just find out how to get that money. Me, when I go to the taxi rank and I'm selling my 10 Rand Mofaya can, and I'm seeing like all those queues, like of people waiting in those lines to get into these minibus taxis to go to work. My 10 Rand, you know? So it's the same mentality I use when I'm online. Like, for me, it doesn't make sense when someone's got 100,000 followers, but they don't have 100,000 rands in their bank account. You can't have 1 million followers, but you don't have 1 million rands in your bank. You can't have 10,000 followers, you don't have 10,000 rands in your bank account, right? So how do you get the money out of these people's pockets? Because they're buying into you. That's your personal brand. Once you build a personal brand, you're building trust. Once you've got trust, when you deliver the product, they have to trust the product. Once they trust the product, then you start getting repeat sales. Once you get repeat sales, you're in business.
I have a bone to pick with you about that statement. I mean, you're absolutely correct. Yes, it's good to monetize, and your personal brand should monetize. However, I don't think that having a personal brand is being online. I think it's more holistic than that. I think it's bigger than that. Because you can have one in the office that you work in, you can have one in the company that you're in, but you might not have a social media presence. Does that invalidate that it's a personal brand?
So it depends on what you're selling.
Okay.
You probably don't have to be on social media, or sometimes you don't have to be the brand yourself.
Yes.
You're probably in an office and you're running a company, or the company is your product, it's your brand, it speaks for itself out there, right? But if you're somebody who wants to start from scratch, building online, you being yourself, you're your own personal brand. People are gonna buy into you, they're gonna buy into what you say or what you put out there, and then they're gonna start coming to you for that type of content. And once that grows, it'll grow or spill over into other platforms, and it'll also spill over into you publicly meeting the people. Yeah. And the more that happens, and I'm sure more than half of this audience is here today because of your online presence. I don't think it's literally people you invited like one by one. I think most of them are here because of your internet presence. So that's where we are, I think, in 2025. And yes, you know, I think we're both right. Yeah. I also do think that in building a brand, you always have to be out there. People have to see you. But the internet will get you out there. Or the book will get you out there. Or the music will get you out there. Or your product will get you out there. Whether your product is the drip sneakers, it's the Tsapo jeans product, or it's the water brand, or I've got a new brand now. It's called Mzakes Kitchen.
And we're going to go into it. We're going to go into that.
You know what I mean? So I guess these are the things that get you out there. You write books, you do podcasts, you do events. People come to you for expertise or your subject matter when it comes to the marketing and branding conversation or narrative, right? Because you've sold yourself as the marketing expert. From the beginning, you were intentional about it. And I think that started drawing 1 or 2 people. They became 50, they became 100, and they became 1,000. And now when you do events like these, people will sign up and pay and come see you. So I do believe your personal brand is now growing into all these other facets that you're making it become, like the books, the podcast, the whatever. Then that gets you out into these types of audiences. This audience, very soon it'll be 500 people, it'll be 1,000 people. You know what I mean? At some point you probably would like to start a TV show, or write another book, or do a documentary, or whatever else you're going to do. We're going to consume it because we bought into this personal brand.
So you'd say that anybody who wants to thrive in the digital era must start with the personal brand.
Yeah.
What about those entrepreneurs or those thought leaders who say that if you start a business or a brand and it's based on you, the ability to scale is much harder than if you start with the business first? What do you say to that?
I think it's both, because nowadays people share their story as they're building the business. Right? Me, at least now, I can enjoy the luxury of being DJ SBU. And because I already have a loyal audience, I can sell them anything. But there's somebody who's going to start from the beginning. In the beginning, yes, it'll be a bit tough. People won't trust you. People won't believe your product will be good. But if you put together a good product and you've really put on some investment into whatever it is that you're building, and it's a really, really good product, I think when people consume it, they'll review it. And if it doesn't speak to them, they'll be honest online. That's the era that we're in. If it's nonsense, they'll tell you straight up. But if you've got something that people are sort of buying into and they think it's a good product, it's a good quality, even though it gets some criticisms in the beginning, the more you're consistent at it and you keep bettering the quality, the more it's going to grow, and then it can speak for you. It can speak on your behalf out there. I also get some people who buy Mofaya at filling stations who don't even know who I am. I've even bumped into some people. And then, you know, they just smoke better snacks. But it's nice because then they're consuming your brand. So the brand is starting to speak for itself, right? So it's getting its own audience as well. So yes, there will be some entrepreneurs who will build a business. There's others who enjoy the luxury of having investment and money, and they throw at the product and they can build a product on its own, and then it can have a life of its own. But nowadays, as people are building their businesses, they're also telling their own story. So they're including themselves in the content creation and in the brand story, you know? So I kind of feel if you do that, then people get to see the entrepreneur's journey from the beginning, even though it might be tough in the beginning. But the more consistent you are at it, and as I was saying, the more the product is good and you've got a good team that you're working with and you're taking advantage of this online clientele or that we have in South Africa, I really do think that you can build a business that can speak for itself in your absence. But why not just be yourself and just build yourself to be a brand if you're not afraid of cameras? Because in that way, then you can do a whole lot of other things if you are the brand yourself. So that even if that one fails, you can, you know, you can try something else. If that fails, you can try something else. And then you can have multiple verticals. You know, I was making an example about you and saying a book, a TV show, a podcast, events, public speaking platforms, etc. Other people, it depends. You know, I've done music, I've done books, done events, I've done some clothing in the past, I'm doing food now, I've done energy drinks, and I've helped other people become brands in their own right, musicians, multiple times. I've done it over and over and over. And I've done that with myself as well. And I really do think the more you do it, the better you become at it. You know, there's other people who are graduates, who are PhDs and master's graduates, but they cannot really put in the amount of knowledge they've learned in class into action. And some of them, if they could do that, they wouldn't even be lecturing and giving people, you know, that information as lecturers. They'd be going out there and making the millions themselves. But I rely on, and I'm inspired by those who are out there in the field making it happen themselves. Those are the people that I look up to and I'm inspired by.
I love that. You're welcome to, thank you. Yes. So I've got 2 more questions about personal branding for you. The first one is, we're living in this digital world. People are hearing your message. They're like, yes, I want to build a personal brand whilst I build my business. But what about the controversy? How does one navigate the controversy that comes with your personal life being exposed to social media and then impacting your business, etc.? How do people navigate that? And can you capitalize on that?
Yeah, Casper does it all the time, McG does it all the time, Nota does it all the time, Nando's does it all the time. That's the era that we're in. It's like, you know, South Africa is a movie on its own, and there's always new things happening every week or every 2-3 days. So that sometimes if you mess up, you must always be able to do damage control. You must have a good PR team, even though it's not a big team, maybe just some people within your organization that have got your organization's best interests at heart or your brand's best interests at heart. And you must be able to spin things around. I remember at some point, Mantashe used to be the SGO of the ANC. And like, there'd be times when there's headlines, you're like, yeah, yabona la manje, yeah. And then Mantashe would just be like, he'd be spinning it, you know? He'd come in the news and say some things where you sort of understand, but you are pissed off. And then from there you forgive them again, right?
Exactly.
So there's other people who are good at that. There's other people who are entertainers who are good at that. There's other people whom you can see with this is a bait. They really want to trend. And they do trend for the wrong reasons, and then they turn it around, right? So it's up to what you do with what is out there. But if you're a big company, those things can affect your stock price. Those people can affect your trust with the audience out there. So you have to be careful of such things. But if you're an individual that's building a brand like myself, the goal is obviously to build this thing such that it's got its own legs, where it can exist in your absence, like what is starting to happen now. But it's taken us 10 years, 11 years. We're on our 11th year now. So it's only on our 11th year where we kind of, you know, this thing is now growing on its own. It's, you know, corporatizing. It's got professionals running it. It's got people with experience that have worked for other bigger brands that know what they're doing. You know, so, you know, we've handed it over to, or we've reinvested into the business such that we're able to afford the most expensive skill set of people with experience, with the education, people who've built brands and businesses before, people who've worked with people that we look up to. So we've put together such a team. So if you're able to do that, then this thing can grow on its own and become its own brand in your absence. And yes, whatever you do as the person will always somehow be linked to your product. Steve Jobs has always been linked to his products, same as Mark Zuckerberg and all the other founders. So yours is just to try and live a godly life as much as you can. Although you're not a perfect human being, there's gonna be times when you are trying to buy Mofaya in the streets and then that guy doesn't have it. And then you tell him, why doesn't he have it? And then you trend for that. And you're going to have to find a way, how do you turn that around? And people are going to be mad at you. But sometimes you can see a marketing opportunity in it. Like the fact that there are millions of people that are telling you nonsense out of it. The fact that they're speaking about the brand might not be the best thing, that they're not saying positive things about what you did. But you're also able to be a human being and apologize. You know, you're not above an apology. But that's after your, 20 million impressions or whatever. So there's things like that that you can do, you know, to live this life, because you're not perfect. You'll always make mistakes along the way. But your goal with your team all the time is just to grow this brand, right? So I think we should think that way. Don't be afraid to be your own brand. Don't be afraid to be your own ambassador. But there's also other people who don't like cameras. You can then use influencers, or you can use your team. The people that work with this brand every day. When you can just be behind the scenes, they can be the ones that you're always filming. You know, build that culture. They can also become a part of the unofficial ambassadors of the brand as the people that are working with it, because they live it. They speak it, they eat it, they talk it, they dream it, they wake up in the morning to come to it daily. So why not they become a part of this journey that you're building? So people shouldn't be afraid to become the brand themselves. You'll always, as long as you're sincere. I mean, people can see that you're not like some Satan or some scammer who's trying to scam them and run away and disappear. When you make mistakes, just come onto the camera, do your, public. How many times we forgive your politicians? They piss us off. They're always in the headlines, but they've been with us for years and years. They're always coming, policing and pissing us off, and then we forgive them again. The other day they do something we like again. We're in love with them again. Then we vote for them again. Then you regret later. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same with the business. You know, it's a brand that you're building. It's a relationship with the people. And when you make mistakes, take accountability, own up to your mistakes, do things better with your team, have a PR team that assists you, and just keep on bettering your product and your quality and how you communicate out there online.
You spoke about living your brand, and you do that quite well with Mofaya. So I want us to go into that. Tell us the story of Mofaya. How did it come about? Why did you choose energy drinks? Why did you choose that market?
Thank you for the good question. I was with a gentleman by the name of TK Nziza, running a record company called TS Records. And I had some music albums that were out, and I used to tour every weekend. I'd have like 5 or 6 or 7 gigs from between Friday and Monday, every week. And on the road, we used to consume a lot of Red Bull, you know? We used to consume a lot of Red Bull, a lot of energy drinks. And wherever we'd go play, like you'd see a lot of people who consume alcohol, who come to our gigs, dashing the alcohol with energy drinks. And energy drinks were just growing in the country. It was just a category that was on an upwards trajectory every year on year, all the way to now. They're still the fastest growing, beverages in the country, and actually all over the world. Although the health energy drinks category is now also growing, especially in first world countries. But energy drinks are still growing in South Africa, and a lot of people kind of felt the Red Bull is in a small can. It's expensive. It promotes. It's aspirational. But then there was a brand called Dragon Energy Drink that started infiltrating communities and townships. And around that time, I think the early days of Dragon was around the same time that I met a gentleman by the name of Siphiwe Likhuleni Shongwe, who is a chemical engineer. He's a mining engineer as well. He works in the mining industry. He approached me at the time, as I was saying, I had top 10 music. I was on radio, I was on TV, on Friends Like These. Literally, you couldn't ignore me, right? So I was like everywhere. I used to have a lot of opportunities. But the one that I sort of took a liking to was around this energy drink. One of my mentors once said to me, I don't know, I think maybe that thing stuck at the back of my mind. And when I met Spio, for some reason, I think it clicked. He said, he asked me, like, why do you consume so many Red Bulls? And then I told him, it sounds, like these things are not good for you. And then it's like, just limit the number of energy drinks that you take. Like, so many energy drink brands have got a disclaimer at the back. We even tell you that you mustn't consume more than a certain number of them, because they're really, really not good for you. You see at the bottom it says usage, maximum 1 can every 4 hours. Do not exceed 3 cans per day. Not recommended for children under the ages of 12. Pregnant or lactating women, persons sensitive to caffeine, So all energy drinks have got these disclaimers, but just like cigarettes, people, they don't read them. So he said to me, if you, son, I want to paraphrase him correctly. He said to me, if you consume too much of it, then own it. Something like that.
Oh,
something along those
bars.
lines.
That's cool.
So I sort of forgot about it. I moved on. But when Spio came in, he pitched to me the business plan. He had the idea in his mind already. It was a different brand. It was not Mofaya. It was a brand that he was already selling. It was an actual energy drink. And then he recruited me to be a part of that brand. And I was interested. He wanted to speak to his other partners who they sort of did not know the potential that I had in contributing and growing an energy drink brand. They were sort of reluctant to have me come on board. Maybe they were not reluctant, but maybe they were more reluctant to dilute their shares at the time. So he came back to me a couple of weeks later and he asked me if he were to sell his shares on the current energy drink brand that he owns, will I be open to start a new energy drink brand with him? But he's gonna have to be undercover for at least 18 months or 3 years. I don't remember the time that he was barred from starting another brand or competing with his brand at the time. Anyway, then I agreed, and that was the beginning of Mofaya. Yeah, it didn't start like this. The brand has had its evolution over the years. Started out on just a can, we wrapped it up, and we literally were just taking chances. We're taking chances, but we just sort of had the vision. That's why I was asking you, what is your vision with what you're doing? As much as sometimes, you'll see as this thing grows, but what's the vision?
Yeah.
Like, what's the end goal? Yeah. So in the beginning, you might just start small, but as time goes, you can never know. Like, I always believe what you put out there, the universe conspires to your favor. It sort of will introduce you to people who introduce you to people who will introduce you to people who will help you. Okay. It'll sort of bring some people your way. Sometimes you don't know the how part.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't even have the money. But because you are already at it, like the way things will happen, they'll end up leading you to every little piece of the puzzle that will help you grow this thing that you've started.
Okay.
That's why it's here today. It's been 11 years. We've been through quite a lot. We've lost a lot of money through it. At some point, we wanted to give up. It wasn't easy. We couldn't get into a lot of platforms. We couldn't get into your biggest retailers. We started out in the cash and carry and wholesaler space. You name it, we've been through it. The tears, the losses, you name it, we've gone through it basically. It's a story that we'll tell properly one day, but it hasn't been easy. But everything that's happening around it right now, it's something that we've always dreamed of. It's something we worked very hard to get to, and it's just great to see it become what it's becoming. And sometimes as the founder and as the entrepreneur, as it starts going to other people's hands or professionals who are starting to have their own vision around how they should grow this thing, you suffer those withdrawal symptoms. It's like they're just taking your baby away from you. But that's what you dreamed of. You dreamed of having people who are that capable, and you have to trust them to take it to the next level. And that's the reason I kind of feel right now it's time to then build, to move on and build something new. And that's why I'm wearing this t-shirt.
And we're going to get into that t-shirt. But before we do that, I'd like you to take us through the design of this bottle and how it came to be like this. I mean, you know about the marketing mix. So I just want people to understand the thought process behind these things and why that is marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the brand were intentional. We called it a protest project from the beginning. We've always believed the world believes Africa is a dark continent. Africa is whatever they were making us believe and whatever they were making the whole world believe. Meanwhile, they were all here and taking our minerals, and they all got wealthy off of our minerals. So because they were saying it's a dark continent, we believe let's come up with a black color that they say is a dark continent, but we believe is a gold mine, because we believe black represents strength, it represents boldness. It's the strongest color out of all the colors of the rainbow. You can mix it with, even if you take paint and you mix black with any color, it'll always dominate other colors. And that was our mindset at the time. It was inspired by two political events. The 1956, when the black women marched into the parliament at the time against the past laws. And we dedicate the creation of this brand to that date. And those women, those mothers, were inspired by matriarchy, taking and owning up space to say they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And the events of 1976, when the young people were sick and tired of being forced into being educated in Afrikaans, and they had those Soweto uprisings. So 1956, 1976, both of those events inspired this can. That's why we went with the black color. But instead of us saying the black color is what they tell us it is, we are telling them the wealth that is in this continent that they call the dark continent. That's why there's a gold around it. The gold represents the wealth that this continent has. And then if you see there's a flame in the middle of the logo or the emblem, the flame is just that burning desire that we believe the youth of today have in going for our dreams and what we believe in. We are not our parents. Our parents brought us into this world. We are inspired by them. We look up to them. We are guided by them. We're inspired by them. And we are mentored by our parents. But we believe we're a new generation that is making it happen, as opposed to just talking about it and protesting. This is how we are protesting, by starting our own things, owning our own things, using the education that our parents have worked so hard for us to attain, to come together with all of these minds that we all have to create our own things. And that's the reason why you see the emblem. Then there's a guard of honor that you always see in government logos, or you see it even in soldiers. Those guards of honor, or those badges that they have, they're honoring something, they believe in something, it's the same. All of that blood that was shed in 1956 and 1976, you'll see a bit of red in it here, but you also see that burning desire, and you'll see the gold, and it's all in this emblem, which is the guard of honor. And then around it is just all this black color that we believe is our wealth and is our strength and is our intelligence and a gift from God. And if you look at the can, the gold around it, but also because we come from the hood, back in those days. Even still today, you look at car companies that create the most nicest cars, you still see them do those nice 18-inch rims, 19-inch rims, 20-inch rims. You look at this can, this is like a rim. We did this before a lot of energy drinks did this. A lot of energy drinks used to just be silver here on top. We praise ourselves for being the ones who were trendsetters and market leaders 10 years ago when we decided to make our can black. So we wanted to be different from everybody else because we believe we've got style. After all, you can't be black and not have style.
Nice. That deserves a round of applause. How many people told you it wouldn't work?
Yo, so many people. So many people discouraged us. So many people, because they cared about us, they kind of felt this thing is getting us through quite a lot. I was fired at the SABC because of I advertised it at a live awards show. I lost my job. I lost my TV job. I lost a lot of friends. I mean, I put money into this thing. At some point, I went broke. I got my sports cars repossessed. I had to sell my homes. I had to start from scratch and just believe in this thing. I went through so much. You know, my partner did the same. We really, really believed in this dream. And sometimes we'd even meet buyers from your, different filling stations and these big retailers, and they would tell us straight up, guys, if you just go change the whatever, yeah, the taste is not bad, but so we always used to experience resistance like every other time, whether it's us pitching it to try and get it into these big retailers, or whether it's us selling it on social media or in person. Even in the beginning, because I was in the entertainment industry, I thought it would be easier to get celebrity friends to endorse it, but it was hard. Others didn't want to be taking pictures holding it, so it was, you go through quite a lot in building in the beginning. Not a lot of people believe in you. Some people start believing in you as time goes, and others, like now it's a decade later, where now you're starting to see the masses embrace it, especially the new generation. So at the time, I used to have the Sibusiso Leope Education Foundation, and we used to go to schools every week. We used to do like feeding scheme programs and inspirational talks at these schools. And I kind of used to feel like we're building our own market. We'd speak to high school students. We kind of felt the older guys are already brainwashed into all these existing brands. We kind of felt, let's build our own market. Let's be consistent at schools. Let's focus on the youth. Let's strengthen our social media presence. Let us just be the brand for the hood. Let's just be the brand for the youth. Let's speak the youth language. Let's look at what they're doing. Let's do it. If it means they're selling in the streets, they're hungry, they're trying to make a living, let's go out there and meet them. Let's go sell this thing in the streets. Let's go to planes. Let's go to trains. Let's go to buses. Let's go to events, gigs. Let's go to churches. Let's go everywhere, wherever there are people, and get this thing out there. And let's document each and everything that we're doing. So if you Google it, there's content for the past 10 years. I know in today's language, they call it receipts. So there's the receipts out there, So we built it like that. And every little thing we're doing, whether positive or negative, the stories are out there. Whether it's criticism, whether it's at the beginning of our brand, when we started out, we were told that we're not SABS approved. And that made it onto the newspapers, and there were headlines that our brand wasn't SABS approved, and a lot of people were afraid to stock it. It really dented us. It was difficult for people to give us an opportunity to be in their stores because they kind of felt it was risky for them to sell our brand because it might make people sick. It's not SABS approved. And we're so disappointed because at the time, no any other energy drink were SABS approved. As a matter of fact, even the big brands, they didn't have the strict process of going through an SABS processes at the time. But when our story made headlines, I think they started making provisions of having to test energy drinks, having to have these big brands come and have their energy drinks tested so they can have an SABS approved, I would say, approval or stamp of approval, for lack of a better word. So it wasn't easy, man. It was quite a journey. It's emotional. For any entrepreneur out there, if they tell you of their stories of how they built their business, not a lot of people believe in you. But as you keep going, I always say, what is the sentence they say? They say, consistency is the only currency that matters.
Thank you, that's powerful. Before we end of the conversation about Mofaya, I want to tap more into this conversation about how challenging it is. Is there a difference from your perspective and what you've seen and experienced in being an African person, selling to African people, building a brand for African people versus maybe an international company or person or a Caucasian person in building and offering things to the African market?
That's quite an interesting one, eh? Yeah, because some of the audiences are always feel like if it comes from overseas, then it's easier to trust it. As opposed to like it's a local brand like but then again you find the new generation, and I'm actually glad of the work we did then, because some of those high school kids and those varsity kids they are now you guys. They're now working. They're now, you know, consuming things. And some of them have grown with it over the past 10 years. They've gotten so used to it that are not only our brand. Like, look at Tsepo. Tsepo is here in Hyde Park. I mean, and Tsepo's shirts are not the cheapest, right? So he speaks to a certain market and demographic, and he does well. Makosa does well. Drip and Batu does well. Forget about how the behind the scenes of running the business happens, but you can see the support is there. Every time they launch a new store, there's queues out there. People that are selling food online, chisanyamas, people that are running car washes, people that are running sneaker cleaning, whatever, people that have released apps. One of the biggest apps that's doing well, a fintech company in the country, is a fintech company called Stockfella.com, run by Mr. Tsepo. It's done extremely well. They've done over R500 million in transactions. They've got multiple Stockfells on their platforms. They've won multiple awards. They're a good, well-functioning black excellence platform, which is, you know, online. You've seen people like Abu Zulzi. Zulzi has partnered up with companies like Abu Checkers 360. The 360 Checkers solution that you see that delivers food in your house, the back-end technology is done by a person that looks like, you know, you and I, you know, and he's creating other businesses now. Do you know what I mean? So it shows you now that abantu abamnyama are at a different space than where we were 10, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, than when it was difficult for our predecessors, the late great Bontate, you know, Richard Maponya, Bontate, you know, Sakumzi, Bontate, you name them, all these great entrepreneurs. We have got the luxury of technology and the internet assisting the growth of our businesses. And with the creativity that we have, we're building amazing businesses. And there's a lot of examples more than there were many years ago right now. So I kind of feel even with the audience, as much as from back in the day, we would be quicker, you know, to accept an international brand than a brand that comes from black people. I think it's also slowly starting to change, especially if those young black people prove to be consistent and they prove to be growing and bettering their quality in their offering. We make our payments through eCoca, we make our payments through Yoko, we're in the fintech space, you know, hardware, software. We're really doing the things, and I think it's only the beginning. Like, you can just imagine where we're all going to be in 20, 30, 40 years from today. So I kind of feel that mindset is obviously still out there because of colonialism and just how people think, and because of, you know, self-hate issues and just how we've been conditioned and programmed. But I still think there's also a big change and a big shift from the new current crop of young people. Like, I believe South Africans are advancing, and we are advancing on a very faster rate than any other African country, I think, you know.
Yes. That's a beautiful story to tell. The idea that even though we're living in a global village, there's still huge demand for African brands produced by African people. On the conversation of African brands, you've just started a new one.
Yeah.
I think it was 2 weeks ago, right? Or last week.
We actually have not even launched, but I started talking about it last week. Yeah.
Okay, tell us about it.
It's called Mzakes Kitchen.
Yeah.
It's basically a food franchise company that we're starting with a partnership with Uber Eats. It is an online African cuisine restaurant, and our products will be African cuisine, as I was saying, nyama enhlogo, umkhodu, umleko, it's chicken wings, it's wraps in the mornings, it's burritos, ikota. Basically, that's our menu. And the branding is around Mzakes. Mzakes is a legendary Kwaito musical icon in the country. A lot of people think it's me, and I'm used to that, and that's fine. Like abanye bazositshela umunye umkhulu wetshebe mhlophe bathi umalume Colonel Sanders, like asimazi lo mkhulu, you know what I mean? And they built this thing for like many decades that we love it, right? If the proof is in the pudding and the food is nice, we don't care if this food is served we'll go there, and we'll go there in numbers and eat it. But why not also get into that space and find your niche and brand it your own way? Same thing, we're inspired by all these other existing energy drink brands, but we found our space and built ourselves a very solid business that keeps on growing, and more than 3 times they've been offering to buy our energy drink company till today, which shows us that we're on the right path. We're doing really well. We've been promised hundreds of millions and almost close to $1 billion for a stake of our energy drink. So I kind of feel coming with a food product that feeds the people that work at these offices, in these schools. We'll be doing a lot of work to go back to the schools and give back and feed kids for free in high schools or primary schools, but also we'll be commercializing our business and being available on Uber Eats. We're going to be available on Spaza Eats. We're going to be available on Mr. D. We're going to be available on Swiper. We are basically an online restaurant that's delivering food. And I think it's also a smart way of starting businesses in 2025 where, you're not going to start a business like you did back then, where you're going to look for space at a mall. How much is that going to be to kit it up and set it up and buy stoves? And like nowadays, you can find a nicely packaged kitchen with everything. And you just pay rent in the beginning and you just train the team. You come up with your own ingredients, your own menu. Then you can just sell online. So we are basically an online store that sells food. And then the demand to have a physical store will come as we go. So rather start with small expenses and then try out the market online with a big vision and then see where that goes. But the vision is basically to franchise it. The business is to have pop-up kitchens every other week. We just had one successful one now at a Radio 2000 event this past weekend. We sold our first 1,000 meals, and that's incredible. You can give us a round of applause. Thank you. So it shows you the potential that's there, right? For me, the challenge is the proof in the pudding. Is the menu right? Is it delicious? Are people enjoying it? Is it convenient? Are you delivering at a time at which you're saying people will get these orders? So if other brands can do so, Tina's Khulwayin, that's what we're doing.
Okay. Do you have experience in the food industry at all, in this kind of food industry?
So I've got a partnership with somebody who's a finalist at MasterChef. Okay. He's a really good cook. He also trains other people. He's got a culinary school. He's very visible online. He loves cooking. He's our head chef. And he's got a relationship with other people who are foodies, who are chefs, who are in the space. And his company has helped other restaurants launch over the past 7-8 years. So we've decided to partner up. We're all business partners with Mzakes as well. I also kind of feel people who become personalities or celebrities or musicians, they build brands and they work so hard when they're young and they have all this success. And then when they're older, maybe they don't tour as much anymore, or even if they release music is not topping the charts as it used to. And they sort of turn to neglect the brands they've built. And I kind of feel the fact that those brands can be recognized by so many South Africans, it shows you the brand value that you can still take advantage of and monetize. And I kind of feel it's the same thing with Mzakes. I believe it's a brand that a lot of South Africans recognize. And the reason why is because a lot of people think I'm Mzakes and they talk about it every day. Like every day, wherever I go. This 20 years later. So it shows you that if it can live for 20 years with all this music catalog and the classics that it has, then you can still benefit off of this brand. I was congratulating Rick's family the other day and saying, Ricky has been gone for a couple of years, but his family has built this product called the Cotton Fest. And it's able to outlive him. Like his family can take the kids to school, they can build products, they can do all these different things through an event that he started while he was alive. But even though it's his absence, the family continues to celebrate his legacy through these events that they do, and they also monetize them, and then they're able to feed the kids so they can take them to school. So I kind of feel it's high time that those of us that have been able to build brands must take advantage of them and give the people what they want. And right now I kind of feel Mzakes gave people music, which the music is classics. Why doesn't he come up with something that people can consume every day? So energy drink is nice, but it's a nice to have. I can always just have a glass of water. But food, you need food. Like it's a necessity. It was classified as one of the essential businesses during COVID-19 lockdown. So whether bayathanda or abathandi banamanga mele bakuthenga ukudla. Njoba ngisho ngithi abamandi nokudlela ezenkeni, So imagine now when you're giving it to them in beautiful packaging and it's delicious and it's nice and it's online, they can order it from their offices, it gets delivered within an hour or within 30 minutes, then you're in business.
It's so interesting that you've decided to go this route with the food.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that because when I look at the packaging, I'm thinking fast food, right? So you're competing with the KFCs, the McDonald's, you're in the fast food space, right? But with African cuisine, especially in South Africa, you either see it go mazenkeng, Kodi taxi ranking, Mam Sbongile cooking your food, or you see it as super fine dining, right? There's never that middle player. Why did you choose to go this route when they say it's really risky to do that?
You hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
We wanted to give you that experience of African food packaged like it's fast food.
Why?
It's a niche.
Just because it's a niche?
Yeah, it's a niche, and I believe food, you'll never run out of business. Like, you'll always make money. I believe there's a lot of professionals around Johannesburg, because we're launching in Joburg first. We'll go national later. We're in Johannesburg first. We're going to go to Pretoria, obviously, Soweto, Makasi, Ekurhuleni. But I believe there is a market out there that can at least buy that can at least give us a minimum from one store, the Joburg one. I believe we can do a minimum of 200 orders daily. That's our business plan. If we've got a minimum of 200 orders with a minimum basket of 150 rands, a basket basically when you go on Uber Eats or whether you go to Nando's or KFC, you're gonna order whatever meal you're gonna order, but you're also gonna order a cold drink. You're probably also gonna order dessert. So that increases your basket, right? The food basket. So our business plan tells us that if we are doing a minimum of 150 food basket, of at least a minimum of 200 orders a day, worst case scenario, half of that, 100 orders, we are building a good business. And if you multiply that by another one in Pretoria, another one in Soweto, another one in Durban, wherever there's Uber Eats, like you just keep on rinse and repeat, and you've got 10 of these, you're pulling out a good turnover.
So you can leverage on upselling with fast food.
Yeah,
than
and by the
any other
way,
category.
yes ma'am.
Yeah.
And what's nice about it,
Yeah.
is that every meal at Mzakes kitchen that you buy, you get a free can of Mofaya.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to buy it. And then we've got a platter and a platter for 6.
Okay.
Yeah, a platter for 6. It's called a makoporosh. So if you buy a platter for 6, which is called a makoporosh, you get a free 6-pack of Mofaya.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to buy Mofaya, even if you don't drink energy drinks.
Yeah.
Like, it makes its way into your home. You can give it to your kids, but whether you like it or not, it's gonna come to your home for free. You don't have to pay for it. But obviously those in business know that you incorporate the pricing into
Into your offering.
Yeah, into your offering. And it's also affordable. So we've got a good team of people creating the food, cooking the food. It's fresh, it's made now. It arrives with beautiful packaging, and it'll start small, and it's going to go through a lot of criticism. It's going to go through a lot of resistance, but we are in here for a long haul, and we believe we can build a brand that can make its way into the top players in the country. If we've been able to do this, there's nothing that can stop us. And everything and the mistakes that we've done, everything we've learned from this journey, we're going to apply it here. We don't have any doubt that we're going to succeed because we are going for an online platform. We're not asking you to come to us. Don't worry. Mzakes people that don't know who he is, that's why they think it's me.
Yeah.
So why must you see Mzakes when you're enjoying his music? So just enjoy his food also. You don't have to see where the restaurant is.
Okay, that's
It's
an
a Mzakes restaurant. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got 2 more questions for you because we are running out of time. But thank you so much for being here. You really have, I think, opened our minds to what's possible. And the fact that we don't have to limit ourselves to just what we do or the niche that we serve, but we can really play around in different pockets. Do you believe that you're a marketer?
Yo, I believe words are power, but I also believe that our titles are people make up titles to give to people. Like, you can call me anything, it's up to you. But I believe I'm a very big asset into my country, into our country's youth. And I think I've lived out my life to my fullest potential. I don't listen to what people have to say. I'm intentional about everything that I do, and I'm having fun while doing everything that I'm doing. And I believe in everything that I'm doing, and God, for some reason, turns to bless me and with an incredible team of people that I work with to build incredible projects. And we have a lot of fun while doing it. So you can call me a father, you can call me a community builder, you can call me a legend, you can call me whatever you can call me, a musician, producer, an entrepreneur, businessman. You can call me a genius if you like. Some people call me Mzakes. Like, you can call me anything. So for me, I appreciate it. It doesn't matter what you call me. And even the negative connotations that people attach to words, you can call me that also. Some people call me that online. I'm fine with that. But I think what I'm blessed with is my name. I'm blessed to become a blessing. Sibusiso Leope, and I live out the meaning of my name to my fullest potential. I keep blessing my audience with creative ideas. I keep living my ideas. I don't wait to get money from anyone. I believe in what I do. I throw money at it, my energy, my time, my support, and I go crazy at it. And for some reason, because I'm having fun while doing it, I also recruit other people to come in with their expertise and work with me and partner with me to turn these, different things that we do into success. Others have become failures, but you learn, you fall, you make mistakes along the way. Some of them, you cut your losses, you move on to the next thing. You fail, you let it go, you move on to the next thing. Like, there's no time for zilling and complaining and thinking you're a victim. There is no being a victim here. Like, just get up and go for your dreams. Siabo.
You answered that like a marketer. You really
So
did. You're a marketer. To me, you're a marketer.
Serious.
One of the best in the country.
I appreciate it, Joe.
You absolutely
So
are.
let me tell you, my team, the guys that I work with. So I was like, guys, let's not have Mzakes' face. People are gonna think this is a music thing. Let's just have this thing, like this logo, Mzakes Kitchen. And let's not have it animated. Let's have it like all professional, corporate. And for some reason, the designers kept on not taking my brief. They kept on taking my business partners' briefs.
Yeah.
And at some point, I was like, you know what? You guys are insisting that it must become this. This will also make hot. But even if it does not have Mzakes face, we'll also still make it hot. So you must believe in yourself so much so that you believe you can do or sell anything. If you believe you're a marketer or if you're a branding expert, you can build and sell anything. So we started selling music to them, we sold books to them, we sold events to them, we sold radio airtime, TV airtime, we're selling them energy drinks, now we're selling them food. Like, you can give them anything. And if you're good at it and you're living it, for some reason, people will buy into it. It doesn't have to be everyone, but I cannot believe I have at least a solid 100,000 South Africans that buy anything I sell them. Those are the only people I need. Everybody else is a bonus.
Wow. Wow. You can clap very loudly. We don't mind. My last question for you is, what advice or what's the message you want to leave future brand builders, African brand builders?
Yeah. Be about community, be authentic. Think about our why do we do what we do? We're not only just trying to make money, guys. Let's think about why do we represent what we represent. For me, that is the most important thing that you can ever do in starting anything. Because once you do that, you're going to have millions of people that connect to that messaging. And everything else is just a bonus around whatever you're building. So it has to have, they talk about that why. But for me, I believe the why must be more conscious than, the descriptions and the reasons that we give it. Those ideas must be rooted in community. They must be rooted in giving back. They must be rooted in being conscious, being intentional about empowering our community, about inspiring others, about making a difference in society. Once whatever it is that you're building is rooted in that and it's got that foundation, I believe everything else will fall into place. And I believe with time, people will buy into whatever it is that you're buying. So if you can just have that connection and you communicate it well, consistently, at some point, 1, 2 people, 10 people, 100 people, and it'll just keep on growing from there. They'll buy into it. And then you can build from then. So if you're building a brand, whoever you are, wherever you are, think about what you represent and what it is. If it's conscious, be unapologetic about what you represent, who you are, and who you're selling it for, and why do you do what you do. I think in that way, you'll build a solid brand because it's got some significance in society. It's not just all about giving people joy and they give you their money. I believe it must be deeper than that.
I love that. And a real brand has a bigger message than just making money. It's about legacy, I'm hearing you say. It's about identity and it's about people.
Yeah,
and communities.
I basically believe in that. And in that way, then black people won't have any problem. And everybody else, obviously, are building a multiracial brand here. But the biggest market in South Africa, abantu abamnyama. So I don't think they'll have a problem giving you their money. They know everything.
Yeah.
They're well traveled. Basas is teach. Like with music, You can play music anywhere in the world. When the DJ mixes a march in any other country, they don't mind. They continue dancing. In South Africa, even the unemployed guys and the most person that you think they don't know anything, now they stop. They look at you like this. That's how well they know their music.
Yeah.
They'll even tell you when you're wearing fake. That's how well they know their brands. They know clothes. So when you're selling to Abantu Abamnyama, you're selling to the best market out there. And once you can jump over that hurdle of giving them something that makes them feel like, no, Yazin, you know what I mean? You guys got this one right. Once you can jump over that hoop and then give them the meaning, I'm telling you, like, the sky's the limit. And respect them. Respect them, deliver on your promises, and better the quality of your products. And just keep on listening to them. The feedback they keep giving you, listen to them. Don't undermine them. Don't talk at them. Just grow with them and also give back to them. In that way, you're in business for the rest of your life. Even after your demise, the legacy will continue.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give DJ SBU a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. I have so much respect for you. I've seen your work over the years, and it's actually been part of the reason why I've wanted to be in the media space and build brands. You know, you have a very unique voice that resonates with many South Africans across racial lines, across income lines. People know you and they love you and they believe in the things that you give the market. So when you speak about heart and how a brand is about community, you're living it, and we get to see it every single day. Thank you so much for being that committed to your cause and inspiring millions of us.
Thank you so much. I would like to give some shout outs in the audience.
Yeah.
I see President, thank you. He's also worked at Mofaya journey with us for a couple of years.
Nice.
I see my guy Tiamo over there. Thank you guys. And I'm seeing young faces, I'm seeing older faces in the audience, and I'm seeing entrepreneurs that belong to the WeWork platform, Workshop 17. I said WeWork, something similar, right? Because they've come up with a business model to offer entrepreneurs co-working spaces. And I think that's amazing. Because others have come and they've played this role, but sometimes they give us something that is a little bit subpar. But what these guys have done, you know, if you know, some of you guys who travel would know the Soho brand, where they've done something similar, but they respect the audience so much so that they give you everything quality, the aesthetics, the places that they're in, etc. Once you do that, you obviously are in business. So I want to appreciate the space. I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate the team and the audience and everyone who came through. Let's go out there and make our dreams come true, guys. I love you. God bless you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our first episode of Diary of a CMO. Thank you so much for joining us. And we really look forward to having more conversations about building African brands with African pioneers. And how do you make it work? How do you make it succeed? We really do appreciate you being part of our community. And we just want to say thank you to Workshop 17 once again for supporting us in this journey and seeing our vision and understanding why it's important to speak to African entrepreneurs and help them develop their businesses in a holistic way. Please travel safely, enjoy the rest of the snacks. We really appreciate you, and let's network, let's have fun. Thank you.
Come let me teach you a lesson. Come let me teach you a lesson. Label line with the tweets. Follow me back to my nest. Label line with the podcast. Teach you lesson cause I got class. Label line with the impact. You be lying, that's a real fact. Come let me teach you a lesson.